24 hours later, an almost incomprehensible picture emerging tonight from Norway after those two horrific terror attacks. First in downtown Oslo, then at a youth camp. The death toll has now risen to 92, so many of the victims children. That number is expected to climb. And this evening, we're getting the first full picture of the horror as authorities piece together what happened, the killer's meticulous planning, and that plan as it unfolded, how he lured campers into trusting him. ABC's Miguel Marquez is in Oslo, and he leads us off again tonight. Miguel.
David, as the weight of this tragedy begins to sink in, we are learning more about how ruthlessly this plan was carried out.
3:26 p.m., a massive car bomb shatters downtown Oslo. The target, the Prime Minister's office. The streets turn into makeshift triage areas. But this horror is only beginning. 45 minutes later, and 23 miles west of the city, the shooter arrives at the ferry dock for Utoya Island.
This yellow tent right back here, that's where the ferry comes in. That's also where the shooter boarded the ferry to take him to the island. One witness we spoke to says he was so convincing as a cop that officials from the island even came over to the ferry here, checked his credentials, and let him on.
He was uniformed as a policeman. He had ID. He acted just like a police usually does.
15 minutes after boarding the ferry, the shooting begins.
He started to make people to come to him, to make young people.
And people went?
Yeah. 4 people stood around him when he started to shoot them.
Almost at point blank range?
Yeah. The first 2 he shot at point blank, the 2 others started running, so they were shot with not a great distance.
Adrian Procone saw the shooter 3 times. He tried to swim from the island, but the water was too cold and the shore too far away. He returned to the beach. As he lay motionless, a dozen or more friends were shot and killed right next to him. One of the dead even laid across his legs.
I could hear his breathing. I could also feel his boots very near me. And I could feel the warmth from the barrel when he pulled the trigger.
A television helicopter caught the gunman in the act. Bodies laying all around him, children in the water, their hands in the air.
He yelled, "I'm going to kill you all." And he was very accurate on where he was shooting. Almost every shot hit something or someone.
For an hour and a half, the killer scoured the island.
People started to run into their tents. And when he saw which tent were just closed up, he just opened it and started shooting in the tent.
This is a makeshift memorial in downtown Oslo. The horrors of what transpired here are almost impossible to fathom.